Let's go for it, Mr. Macho.
What do you mean? Okay, it was a joke. Listen, I'm pretty tired.
It's just that you're so incredibly soft and cuddly.
Bev, let's be realistic. I mean, my apartment's zillions of miles from here. You're 3 feet taller than I am.
I just can't resist your intense animal magnetism.
Whoops. Anyway, where will it all lead? Marriage? Kids? A house in the suburbs?
Let's just face it. It's fate.
No, it's not. I've got a headache.
And I got the aspirin.
Be gentle.
All right, everybody. Well, that was horrible. I sounded drunk there. Wow.
That's probably because you are. It's a Saturday night when we're recording.
Yeah.
Kieran's pissed.
Yeah, we're real party animals. We're recording this. we're recording fucking Howard the Duck on a Saturday
when
night.
everybody's out in the town partying. We're sitting at home talking about a shit 80s film.
I got a fucking coffee at fucking 8:30 at night. That's real party guy here.
Yeah. I'm sitting here with a big pint of water. So yeah, rock and roll.
Okay. As you know, Marvel's pretty big.
This is a Marvel film?
Yeah. Well, no, it's George Lucas film. But
based on a Marvel comic strip?
Based on the Marvel comics, yes. Marvel wasn't the universe it was. It was just more known as Marvel Comics. So it's pretty much just based on the story created by blah, blah, blah. Yeah. So they were trying to kind of, we talked about this with Buckaroo Banzai. Quirky was in. And that's kind of what we were talking about when we did last Terminator there. We talked about what we'd be doing here in the next 4. These films that came out, He-Man would be a perfect example, based on other material, Street Fighter, and obviously Howard the Duck. But you had these kind of zany films coming out, outside the box, zany. Buckaroo Banzai, Big Trouble in Little China, and some worked, some didn't. And this one was the big one. This one was pretty much killed the creators of the directing writing team, William Hook and Gloria Katz. They're both They're both married. Very talented people. They did America. They're LucasFilm kids. So they
wrote Temple of Doom.
Yeah, they wrote Temple of Doom. They wrote American Graffiti. But I think what killed them was they directed 2 of the biggest bombs in the 80s, if not 2 of the biggest bombs in film history, back to back. And both films had massive star potential. Lea Thompson was finally getting her own film because she was hot from Red Dawn, Some Kind of Wonderful, Back to the Future. First one just came out, so she was the next get. Then they directed a movie called Best Defense, which had 2 big A-listers at the time, Eddie Murphy and Dudley Moore. Terrible film, to Best Defense, terrible. And
I haven't seen it.
Don't. And then they did this one. I think finally said, no, that's it. Again, George Lucas has to take blame for this as well. He is, I think, a very smart man, but he's really good with, like you said, the Industrial Light Magic, Lucasfilm sound, and producing certain characters. And, Star Wars is a brilliant film. But at the end of the day, George Lucas is not Spielberg to me. Spielberg is the man.
No. Yeah.
And I have nothing against, George Lucas, I got to thank him for helping with Indiana Jones and Star Wars, of course. But that's it. His other projects, the Red Tails movie he did was terrible. Willow was terrible. I know it's kind of a cult following now. That was Ron Howard, but again, produced by...
Yeah, I remember Willow.
Produced by Lucas.
Warwick Davis.
The Radioland Murders. What the fuck?
I would, at this point as well, like to give a shout out to Con Connolly and Sligo. The reason being, he knows his shit when it comes to comic books. When I said I was watching this for the podcast on Facebook, he jumped in with a comment that, right from the off, I must say, I have not read the source material, the Hard to Duck comic strips, but Con was saying that apparently they were pretty edgy and they were pretty much the boys, the current Netflix show of the comic book world, and it was pretty edgy stuff. But this is an atrocious sort of reimagining of it, where it tries to go too mainstream, or sort of balance between mainstream and also try to be a bit edgy as well, but appeals to neither. You know,
I think they tried to go edgy. What Howard the Duck was. I read some of the Howard the Duck stuff, so I know what they were trying to do. But
yeah,
when you're trying to do edgy but balance it almost like a kiddie film, it becomes more creepy than edgy.
Yes, exactly. 100%. And this film is creepy in aspect. Unintentionally, I'm not saying that the guys who made it were creepy. I just think that they got it wrong in terms of the tone. Just like you're saying, like I'm saying, like Con's saying, they're trying to do this balancing act between basically appealing to the mainstream and the kids, but also being true to the source material. Like I say, I haven't read the source material, but I'm going by what you're saying and what Con said to me.
Yeah.
So, it's... Yeah,
Howard the Duck is pretty much a take on the old Humphrey Bogart 50s noir kind of detectives.
Yes.
And he drinks, he smokes, he's a womanizer. You know, that's Howard the Duck. Mm-hmm. Okay? And he's, unclean shaven and he's just dirty. He's,
yeah.
And we don't get this with this one. But let's just jump into it. All right, we got Lea Thompson. I love you, Lea.
Yeah,
Lea Thompson.
She's great in this. She's the best thing about this.
Yes. No, you know what? I like Jeffrey Jones. Sadly.
It's just bonkers over the top.
Yeah. We got Lea Thompson as Beverly. We got the Duck, played by Ed Gale. And Jeffrey Jones as Dr. Jennings. Tim Robbins as Phil, who's terrible in it.
Yep.
Paul Guilfoyle, who I like to see. Lieutenant Welker. And then we got a bunch of motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tim Robbins cannot do comedy. Stick to the more serious, depressing roles like the Shawshank Redemption.
He started off in comedy.
Jacob's Ladder.
He did a movie with Johnny Depp called Private Resort. And then he ended up doing, which is quite good comedy, with the movie that kind of put him on the map called Bull Durham. Then he did the Coen Brothers Hudsucker Proxy, which was a comedy. So we know he's done some pretty, when he got older in his acting career, his comedy started playing a little.
It's just annoying here.
Yeah, he can't do zany. Oh no, he can't, because Hudsucker Proxy is pretty zany.
Maybe it's down to the direction.
Yeah, exactly.
Could very
act
well
like
be.
A fucking asshole. Okay, got it. No problem there.
And the script as well, because the lines aren't exactly, there's not much to go with. So yeah, so maybe I'm being unfair to Tim Robbins.
Yeah, when it comes to the funny thing is, Lea Thompson had the hardest part because you have Tim Robbins playing zany. Paul Guilfoyle was only there for, backdrop. He's his character actor.
She's a straight character.
Yes, Jeffrey Jones goes nuts. He becomes nuts. Yep. Lea Thompson had the harder role because she had to play it straight.
Yep. What I remember of this film, I actually have a strange, as bad as this is, I have a bit of a nostalgic connection to this. Back when I was a kid.
Bestiality?
Duck porn. No, back when I was a kid, I used to go over and stay with my two cousins, Bill and Thomas, and obviously their dad and mum. My Uncle Billy just passed away last week, so watching this shortly after he passed was a bit of a strange thing. But I used to stay over in their house with them, because we're all primary school age, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 and stuff, and we used to rent videos out at times, and this was one of the videos we rented out the first time I saw this, the first and only time until I watched it for the podcast. But the only thing I could remember from watching it back then, whenever I would have been about 10 or 11, is strangely the final, sing-song where Howard the Duck.
Howard the Duck.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's basically the only thing I can remember from it. I knew everybody, had acquired a status of being dreadful and one of the worst films ever made. But for me, I just remember, the main thing I can remember is Lea Thompson being a pop star at the end.
I'm going to go back to Lea Thompson there because, she sang her own music in this,
I know she did.
And you got to give her credit. She went all out. She's
the best thing about it.
She is, and she's good in it. She is.
Yeah, she is.
And actually, they're all there to do what they're told to do. Jeffrey Jones is a comic genius. I loved him in Ferris Bueller. God, I'm so pissed off.
Yeah, Rooney.
I'm pissed off what happened.
With the photos,
his personal life,
14-year-old boy.
Yeah, no, he's gone pretty much now, and
disgraced. Yeah,
but I'm sorry. Jeffrey Jones in the '80s was
well, Ed Rooney was a great character in First Bueller's Day Off.
And then we got Beetlejuice coming out, and he's not going to be in it. You know, it's like, because he's part of that team, you know? But I don't know. It's too bad. But anyways, yeah, so like I mentioned, he's a 50s kind of beaten down noir kind of guy. And it opens
Pulp
up with
type,
the trumpet piano music playing in the background.
The jazz music,
Very jazzy. I do like the pictures of all the ducks. So stupid.
But you know what is, I must admit, see, that the Raiders of the Lost Egg or whatever it is, or Raiders of the Lost
and they have all these
something.
Classic 50s.
Casablanca and stuff.
You have these 50s films movie posters. My Little Chitty.
But instead of like the original films, it's duck versions of them.
Yeah, it's like
stupid.
with starring Mae Nest and W.C. Fowles.
Yeah. And I do like an old cheesy pun, I must admit. So, yeah. Maybe if the film had been just like duck puns, I might have been a bit more sold with it. He's
got the porn magazine Play Duck.
That's right. Yeah, he goes, who's a centerfold this month? Yeah. And it's again, more duck porn. This is film is, again, this is, like you said, you sort of nailed it. It comes across as a bit creepy because this is technically a kid's film. Even whenever, which we'll find out later on why, whenever he gets like thrown in the R universe. So by the way, did you notice a Star Wars reference at the very start with the twin suns tattooing?
No.
In Howard the Duck Planet, there's twin suns, and it's obviously a reference to tattooing in Star Wars. But anyway, whenever he gets like thrown back, as soon as he gets thrown back to Earth, or not, you know, he gets thrown into the Earth for a stupid scene, but it's quite sort of adult. You know, there's like the girl biker gang. The girl biker gang who are called Satan sluts and stuff like that. then there's an attempted rape on Lea Thompson.
But that's
by the fucking guys in the street who play it fucking slapstick.
But my point is, that's them trying to be true to the source material, because this is what Howard the Duck was. It was sleazy. No,
I know that.
Howard the Duck was sleazy tabloid journalism. That's exactly what Howard the Duck is.
Yes. No, that's fair enough. But the problem with this film version of it is it's marketed at kids. Or, you know what I mean? So there is
the marketing team behind this.
It's too much of a clash.
This doesn't suit Lucasfilms. I mean, this.
No.
Yeah, when you put Lucasfilm on it.
This isn't Ewoks.
This needed to be. Yeah. If this came out now and you got fucking our boy James Gunn to do it, it'd be a fucking smash.
Well, sure, he has brought Howard the Duck and the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yes, he does have a cameo.
So he has. Yeah, cameo. I've watched the clips on YouTube. I haven't actually seen the film where he appears, but I did for this podcast watch the clips on YouTube, and it does seem a bit more sort of suited to someone like James Gunn, somebody wacky who's gonna, you know, or even like David Lynch or Cronenberg or something. Or
give it to W.D. Richter, the guy who did Buckaroo Banzai, he also did Big Trouble in Little China.
But it's not suited for Lucasfilm. This is not this. You know, this is not Ewoks. You know what I mean?
Well, and even when he gets shook through time, and he goes to that girl's the other duck's bath, and there she is with her tits out. It's not funny. It's disturbing.
It's weird. And not in a good way. Weird. You know what I mean? It's like there's a duck with like duck tits. Ducks, I guess you could say. Ducks have tits.
I guess you could say it was
ducks lay eggs.
It was her breasts.
Ducks. As far as I'm no veterinarian, and I'm no sort of expert, sort of biologist. But as far as I'm aware, ducks don't have tits; they lay eggs. So ducks would have no.
Well,
tits.
Okay, I think you're now. I think you're okay. Now you're just.
All right.
You're making it. You're actually making it more creepy.
well. No, to be fair, they're not like human ducks, obviously.
You know what this duck?
They're alien ducks. He's an alien duck.
You know what this film could have done?
Mm-hmm.
Half the film, it take place in Duckland, and have Lea Thompson back there.
Yeah,
they needed to mix it up that a little more. There was like 30 seconds in Duckland, and all of a sudden we're in Cleveland.
Yeah, with Satan sluts, and even the acting with the attempted rape sort of whenever they're basically trying to be in more than leches with Lea Thompson, it's done like in a slapstick manner, and like there's like a goofiness, as Americans will call it, to the actors' performances who are the rapists, the potential rapists, and it's just like fucking the tone is fucking it's bonkers. It's weird.
Yeah, because after she saves him, he's gonna leave and. he's stuck in the rain, and she feels sorry for him, which I understand. Now,
hold on a minute. You forgot a very important part.
What?
That he's a master of quack foo.
Oh yeah, I know. No more Mr. Nice Duck.
Oh dear. Yeah. Yeah, if you're going to do duck puns, get them right. You know?
Oh my God. There's a song that's in this, and it's written by a very talented man, Thomas Dobley. And it's called Don't Turn Away. It's terrible. Terrible. Now, let's talk about, let's get the bestiality part out of the way. There's no bestiality in this film, okay? She was just playing with him. I actually do think she's playing like you play with your dog.
Yeah, she's winding him up.
She's winding,
but
she's
at the same
playing,
time,
she's not there to fuck him. All right, let's get
what
that.
was?
I mean, no offense. What's she gonna do? Go down on his?
Here, there's another creepiest bit in it. This is probably the creepiest bit in it for me anyway. The fact that she opens his wallet and he's got a duck condom in it. So he does. He has a fucking condom. So he does. So yes, by extension, that must mean that he has a duck dick.
Oh God!
You know what I mean? I'm not making this up. He made this up. So right then, what was going on with Lea Thompson's agent back then? She went from wanting to shag her brother in Back to the Future to wanting to shag a duck.
She's not shagging the duck, and there was no.
Well, fuck it,
again, we're not getting into that again with Back to the Future. I had my argument, you sick bastard.
Fuck a duck.
So. But I do like, I'm saying this, I'm trying to, because it's going to get terrible. So I do like the fact that Lea Thompson and the duck have kept.
Have what?
There's chemistry there.
I know.
They know
sure,
they work. There's something there that does work between the two. So,
oh no, not your fucking creepy.
It's
bastard.
creepy.
No, me.
But they play off each other pretty well. You know, I can see why Lea Thompson got top billing.
Yeah. Oh, Ciaran, you're quackers. Oh dear. Hey, I'll say one thing. Our duck puns are better than the ones in the film.
Yeah. They're not clever.
You know?
All they do is replace a word of duck. I mean, it doesn't even rhyme or anything. It's just
it's like quack foo. It's like, you know, it's like duck puns done by a 10-year-old.
Well, I do like the fact when he tells her what's going on, she believes him, because at the end of the day, she's talking to a fucking duck, so she has to. So there's none of that crap going around. There's no fucking around there, and so.
Although still, I mean, there is. He just, you know what I mean? Yeah. But the whole, you mean with everyone accepting a talking duck? They sort of deal with that quite well, actually, because anybody who sees him shrieks in horror, which you fucking would do. You'd think you were going insane.
But that's the problem. That's the problem. That goes away too fast. And this whole fish out of water.
Yeah, they accept him very quickly. They accept him very quickly.
Yeah, he seems to be. And I'll tell you, I mean, there's a difference between having slapstick comedy, which I think that's what they're trying to do here, especially with the garbage bag scene, which I thought was terrible. Mm-hmm. It was embarrassing. Actually, there's shots in this film where I literally feel sorry for Lea Thompson.
Oh, yeah. I mean, she's the one that's been shafted here, like, you know. And like we said, she is giving it her all, and she is the star here. But everything else around her is a mess. A complete and utter disaster.
Yeah, she probably did this role, and she gave it her all, and she did. And I'll tell you what, right now, the directors and producers were probably rolling their eyes going, what the fuck are we doing? And she trusted them. There, I'm saying.
You know the producers?
She trusted Lucas. You've got Lucas behind the camera here. You've got these two talented writers behind the camera here. Mm-hmm. They fucked her over. And
do you know?
And I'm telling you right now, besides the Back to the Future films, Lea Thompson didn't work that much. Now, she married Howard
Census.
She married Howard Deutsch, the film director, the great film director from the 80s, and they're still married to this day.
Yeah, her daughter's now an actor.
Zoe, but she's raised her kids, and she still works. She's does Lifetime movies and stuff like that, and she's still good on her.
Yeah,
but I think this film was
possibly
was the nail in the coffin. I really do think this really hurt her, and that's not fucking fair. It isn't.
Yeah. No, it's definitely not. Do you know that a couple of the executive producers, I forget their names, but I did read up on this. Apparently, whenever this film was, the premiere was first screened, this was the first time that these producer guys had seen it, at least one of them. And apparently, one of them flipped out at the other one for greenlighting this. He said, how could you have greenlit this absolute nonsense, this trash? And apparently, they ended up in a fist fight between the two of them. So there you go.
Yeah, he's right. Whoever said it.
Yeah.
I mean, we've talked about going risque, and you're right. You almost need like a David Lynch or someone or the Coen brothers, or who does quirky good. Like when he plays, he's the towel guy at a bathhouse. What the fuck are we watching here?
Yeah, it's insane for the most part. But there's other stuff that where it falls down with as well. Not even just the uncanny valley fucking strangeness of it. There's also stuff like, some of the acting by some of the supporting cast is awful. Like whenever they're in the diner later on, and it's maybe not even the cast. I mean, a lot of it's down to the writing and the direction.
They've been told play it quirky and stupid.
Yeah, goofy.
Yeah.
And so even the stuff where they're trying to cook duck, Howard.
That was terrible when they're trying to cut his head out. I mean, this is stupid.
And the waitress and stuff then and she's being sort of dead dopey and stuff. And then in the background, you've got Ed Rooney from, what do you call it, First Bueller's Day Off. He's turning into this Lovecraftian monster. And yeah, it's just a mishmash of crazy bonkers shit, and none of it really works.
It's inconsistent. It's sloppy. One time he's walking down the streets, people are screaming and they're in shock. And then he's in the Cherry Bomb concert and nobody's blinking an eye. It's like, what are we seeing here? And then he gets the band's money back. Because the band's just been stealing from him.
Nonsense.
And he's playing, oh my God, let's get to the guitar scene. Oh my God.
Oh yeah.
Which is almost like a reference. I almost felt like they're trying to, and I'll be pissed if they were, almost trying to do it like a Marty McFly, but Back to the Future.
That's what I thought.
You caught that too?
Yeah, I thought that was a definite reference to Back to the Future. I think there's a few Back to the Future references in here, but I thought that was definitely one of them.
Oh.
So it did, Yeah. And then it turns out that Howard wants to go back to Duck Planet. Is the Duck Planet ever named? I don't think I caught it, if it was.
I don't give a fuck. I think it's what it's called.
Yeah, neither do I. But it turns out that Tim Robbins and scientists, people who work with Tim Robbins, were the ones who dragged him into our universe. And what about that opening monologue as well? The opening narration with the planets and stuff, talking about the universe and all that shit as well. But anyway, yeah, so then Howard wants to get back, but they can't get back. And then what they do is they drag a big Lovecraftian monster through instead. The idea of the monster I quite liked. The realization was pretty poor, to say the least.
Yeah, I mean, like the bedroom scene where all she does is she invites him to bed to watch Letterman, because we all did in the States. We fell asleep to Letterman or Johnny Carson. And she's treating him like the dog, and she's playing around with him, having a joke. And yeah. But
his feathers get ruffled.
Yeah.
Literally.
But at the end, there is some relationship there or something.
Well, I mean, they do basically, but again, it's not defined. Thankfully, you know what I mean? Because he becomes our manager, and she sings a song in tribute to him. I'd be honest with you, I don't even know where to go with this in terms of the podcast. This is like I'm, where do you go with this? It's a definition of a shit show.
Yeah. So as they're in bed, the Dr. Jennings and I'll lock in on them, as you do.
Yeah, that's right.
You break in their apartments.
Oh yeah, because you just like a young woman, who lives in an apartment where you just walk on in and just invite yourself in and and then scold her for having sex with Doc.
You say
happens all the time.
They find out that their Dynatechnics lab, whatever it's called, their beam sucked him out, but they feel they can reverse it, but there's a limited time
to send him back, but then to fuck it up or something, and to bring the monster back instead or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's basically the plot. And the plot then possesses Ed Rooney from first.
Well, I like that. I will say this: because he's got good comedic timing. So
the crazy acting.
He's very good at. He's a normal guy. He's a nice guy, but then he starts transitioning. In each scene, he's getting rougher looking.
Well, he's a bit of a dick, actually.
Yeah,
but he's generally not the worst. Yeah, he's not a villain.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I kind of liked that idea. Horribly at the end of the day executed, but I can see where they're going with it. I guess you can say.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
I just
it's all over the place.
And then
in terms of tone,
and don't forget the plane escape. Oh my god.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I know.
Which actually, I will say this: visual effects wise, that plane sequence wasn't bad.
It was all right for the time,
but the whole wackiness of it was just this isn't.
Yeah, I just don't know who this was marketed at. I think they tried to appeal to too wide an audience, kids and the adults. You know, the way back then you would have had like Ghostbusters, which was sort of for kids, but it would have had adult jokes in it. But here, just to the nature of it, you can't pull it off. You know, you either go one way or the other. You can't do both. You know, you either make it for adults and have them sleazy, smoking, and a bit of a perv, and, you know, bedding women or duck women, whatever.
Well, no, even that would even make more sense for Lea Thompson because he's a badass. He doesn't care, but he does protect her. He saves her from being raped. He gets her away from the manager, but he's still this badass, smoking, listen, doll face. I'll talk to you later. He's, he's dismissive of her, but he's always there to help her. That would have been better than playing this Kermit. It was almost a Muppet character.
Yeah. He's a Muppet.
Because he doesn't want to be there. So he's not a hero, really.
Yeah.
The only reason
he gets more a reluctant hero.
Yes, because at the end of the day, the only decision he has to make is he's got to destroy the laser, and he won't be able to get back to his duck world.
The Lucasfilm, like we said at the start, the Lucasfilm guys were a really bad fit for this sort of thing. Have somebody like Cronenberg do it, make it a full-on body horror, you know what I mean? Or like we said, Lynch or somebody fucking, Spike Jonze, that director, he could do something. But trying to appeal to the kids as well, it just, like you say, it just comes across as creepy.
You could have got the guys. I wasn't a big fan of the movie as we talked about it, but Stuart Gordon and the team, and Brian Yunza from Full Moon, who did like the Reanimator films and Honey, I Shrunk the Kids
and all that sort of thing.
He did Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. So those guys, or even Peter Jackson, when they were younger, somebody who had who knows how to can come off in bad taste, but you're laughing with it because you're getting a why, because you understand why it's in bad taste. If that makes any sense.
James Gunn, perfect for it.
But he wasn't around then. And back then, in all fairness, you really did have pretty much serious directors. The Coen brothers weren't around yet. Well, they probably just did Blood Simple. Lynch was just off Dune, and he certainly wasn't touching this.
No, not
after what he went through with Dune and the big Hollywood guys there. So that was
Lynch was actually offered Return of the Jedi by Lucasfilm, but he knocked it back.
I promise you, other people looked at this and said, "You want me to direct this? Yeah, go fuck yourself."
Yeah,
because the first thing they're going to say is, "What are we doing here? What genre is this?"
Yeah, exactly. It's you can't. It's not superhero, or is it? You know what I mean. It's more of a sort of weird horror that someone like Cronenberg would do much better. Now, again, like I said before, I haven't read the original comic strips, so maybe somebody.
I know who could have done this.
Darker.
I know who could have done this.
Who?
And I can't believe I haven't thought it.
Terry Gilliam?
No. Oh yeah, Terry Gilliam might be all right. No.
Yeah.
Jim Henson. He just did The Dark Crystal, and he just got done doing Labyrinth.
But I don't know. That would be like having Kermit the Frog.
No, but I think
fucking
Labyrinth's pretty disturbing. Labyrinth, I mean,
you
got David Bowie with a big cod piece, and then you've got when he's trying to hit on a little 12-year-old girl. I mean, but you still understood it as a fairy tale and blah, 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 Grimm's fairy tale. He might have, but Jim Henson might have been, and again, it deals with puppetry, well, technically, but this is more animatronics, I think they call it, and which was actually quite good. the duck troll, the people in the duck and the guy who voiced the duck was fine. But
I take it they had kids playing the duck whenever he's running about, or like little people.
they had little people, yeah. The guy who actually played them, and most of it was little people, and then they had stunt little people, or however it works.
Yeah.
But
that must have been pretty fucking degrading as well. Getting fucked into that stupid duck costume.
hey, I got my first part. What? You're a duck. Oh, fuck.
but to be fair, they probably would have been paid well, and I hope they were paid well because they fucking deserved it. We're having to go through this nonsense.
Well, you get to see Lea Thompson in bed in her underwear, so that would have been fucking cool.
Yeah, well, that's a Becky and Lea Thompson. Yeah, top notch.
Fuck me. Yeah, listen.
That's what Howard said. Strangely enough to Lea.
Yeah.
There's nowhere to go with this.
I don't know.
It's a train wreck of a mishmash of bullshit.
You know, it's funny. Usually with bad cinema, you can find something that you'll enjoy. You go, well, I like
Lea
this.
Thompson.
And you know what? I had a smile on my face, and I'm going to walk away. I'll watch it again. I don't think I could watch this again, though. There's no there's no replayability here, is there?
The only apart from Lea Thompson, but
there's pausing. You can pause. There's certain scenes you can pause. Yes, it has pausability.
Yeah,
pausability from Lea Thompson. Yes,
We're calling hard creepy.
We're the sick bastards.
Yeah, sitting here talking about duck tits and all sorts. But yeah, anyway, Lea Thompson. Aside from obviously she does look great. Let's be honest. But aside from that, she is by far the only thing that's good in this film because she can act. She's obviously given it her all. She did the song. She does the songs and stuff. She can act fine. She is the straight role here. She does. All things considered, she does a very good job. The rest of it is complete and utter rubbish.
Yeah. I really got nothing more to add. I think that's what they
We got a wee sing song at the end, though.
I do think that's what the editing room said. I got really nothing more to add here or edit to make this any better.
I would like one request. Whenever, the way you put like some of the score at the start and end of each podcast, make sure you put the duck song.
I can't.
If you can do it for rights. Oh, yeah, it's to do with copyright.
Copyrights, you can't do. Someone who wrote that music, you can't take it.
Yeah, it's to do. I think you can use a certain amount of seconds, but yeah.
You can't. You can only use score.
Right, okay.
And that was sucked if I'm not mistaken.
There you go. Sorry, guys. If you want to hear the song, you're going to have to watch Hard the Duck in full.
Or just forward it to the ending. And then you see him playing guitar. It's like, oh my god!
It's ridiculous. And I think there's sort of again, it's like the Back to the Future reference as well. Marty McFly with the guitar and the AC/DC thing and all, and they're like singing, but with their backs to each other and stuff. And it's I just fucking shoot me.
Yeah, this is. Well, we had a good laugh. What more do we need?
Yeah. Well,
but don't worry, we're going to be fine. It's all going to come. We're going to flip side of that coin, and we're going to get a real treasure. Because we're about to talk He-Man and the Masters of the Universe next.
Yes, Dolph Lundgren.
That's going to be good, right?
Yeah, I like this film. I don't want to spoil the podcast, but let's just say I've always had a soft spot for it.
Yeah, I like Dolph.
Langella
I like Dolph
as Skeletor and Courtney Cox in one of our first roles.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all we got for this one. And usually with films like this, you would always go, well, if this came out there during this time, it would have done all right. No, this film was poorly directed, poorly written, poorly everything. It had some nice animatronics. You had Lea Thompson, who gave it her all. I like Jeffrey Jones, what he was given. But this is terrible. This is terrible. Terrible. When you write a script, first thing you're asked, who's the first two questions they will ask is, one, what genre are we focusing on? And two, and this is the big one, who's your core audience? Yeah.
This tanked so badly in America, they actually give it a different title over here in the UK. It wasn't marketed as Hard the Duck. It was just Howard, a new breed of hero, for some reason. Which actually I think Hard the Duck's better. But there you go.
It depends. If Howard the Duck...
Everybody here just knew it was Howard the Duck anyway.
Yeah, if Howard the Duck, the comic, wasn't big over in Europe, that's why they did that, to be honest with you.
Yeah, and it was... Everybody just knew it anyway in the UK, or certainly the ones I knew, just knew it as Howard the Duck, even though it was marketed as Howard, a new breed of hero, on the video covers and posters and stuff.
Well, there you go. The film did certainly ruffle a lot of feathers.
Oh. This has been a quacker of a podcast.
Oh, wow. This is... Wow.
and I'm cream quackered now after it.
That's... Okay, let's just move on. All right. Yeah.
Let's duck off.
We're going to shut this one down like they should have done during the half production of this film.
Then before production, yeah.
All right, guys. Thanks for giving us a listen here. You can reach out to us at CitizenFrame _podcast on Instagram and, of course, Facebook. The new magazine, the new issue of Phantasm Goria is out now. I have a couple reviews in there. They're quite good. I believe the words that were told me that they were compelling.
Yes, they are Frogman and also Abigail. You're reviewing it. So yes, the latest issue is out, available throughout the world from Amazon. Also, locally at Forbidden Planet International, Belfast, and other select stores. It contains interviews with authors Mark Morris, S.T. Joyce, also Lee Murray and C.C. Adams. There's loads more. There's big features on Basil Copper, other things, a satanic panic sort of scare of the 1980s in America, loads of fiction, artwork, all the usual. It's issue number 24 of the regular series. Go check it out.
There you go. That's all we have to say.
Cool.
All right, guys, we'll see you next week with He-Man in the Masters. I think, no, isn't it just called He-Man? No, it's just called Masters.
It's just called Masters. The cartoon was called He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, but this film is just called Masters of the Universe.
Okay, that's right. And, all right, we'll dive more into that next week. Take care of yourselves.
Bye-bye.